Okay, so this is my first time using this enclosure. Let's see how my first part of my print did. Looks good. Absolutely no smell. So that was awesome. Okay, I've got my tray that I'm using to dearticulate the build plate. Okay, we gotta get it off without hitting anything. Okay, awesome. And we're gonna come over here. So this is just like my work area. I do a lot of work from home, and as you can see, it's just kind of a mess. I've got my Primark up there, so let's see if we can't get this set up. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of look at this and see how everything printed out. As you can see, it printed out really well. I don't see any failures at all, even on like the mesh on the tabard in the front or on his belt. All the chains and everything printed. So what we're going to do is we're going to use clippers, little clippy clips, and we're going to try to remove everything very carefully. A lot of these I can get off with just my fingers, but we want to be really careful because uncured resin is a thing of agony when it comes to breaking and brittleness. So we're going to come in here and use our fingers just a little bit to get some of those larger ones. Come in here, get these guys done. That's the connection that we're gonna use to connect his wing to his body. Okay. Being real careful here. As you can see, it's a pretty intricate print. So we're going to go under this wing here. Okay. And our goal is to remove enough of the support material that we can rock this off like so. And we have a wing. Looks really good. Really thin. I don't know if you can see how thin. You can almost see light through it. So we'll set that over there. We'll start to work on this one. Really happy with how my enclosure worked out. It was able to print even though it was only 55 degrees in there. Which, if you're not new to resin, you know that's like a fail temperature. Like, that's way too cold. I've had failures when it was like 60 something, and somehow maybe it was the constant like air movement or what, but it printed out perfectly. I'm going to be really careful with this bottom part here. As you can see, it's kind of like tangled with the supports for the legs. I don't want to lose a talon, so we're just going to kind of wiggle it a little bit, and we got it. So as you can see, real delicate piece, but it printed out fine. Now we're going to move on to these legs. They should be a little bit sturdier, except for the groin area. It has a ton of detail, so just a little bit about the process here. I'm gonna have a ton of supports at the end, especially, you know, as I do other parts. They're all gonna kind of build up. What I'm gonna do with those is just throw them in my resin curing station and let them cure. I'm not gonna rinse them off or anything, and that'll make them safe to throw away. Okay, I gotta be really careful here. We've got just a little lone skull. I don't want to break him off. You're always going to have a little bit of breakage probably with a print like this. I don't want to jinx myself, so. I don't know if you can see. Okay, just had a little bit of an accident. I'm not used to filming yet, so I knocked my camera off my desk. Not a huge deal. But yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that. It gets down to like a single little chain down here. Hold on. Come on, you can do it. Focus. Probably need some more light. We're going to work around the feet here. Stay away from this kilt, which is probably by far the most delicate piece. Okay. Looks like the area that his tail attaches to worked out good. And then we should be able to rock this guy off. And there, we have 1/3 of our Angron print, and it looks just great. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up my mess here, cure these off, throw them away, do the initial wash of these guys, and then we'll throw them in the cleaning resin, or cleaning solution to get them cleaned up. Okay, so as you can see, these guys are on the off the build plate. Build plate's clean again. I'm going to go ahead and load him up here. And we've got enough resin still in the tank to go ahead and start my next process. We're going to do body and arms. Okay, and as you can see, whoop, it's going down. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. Boom. And I'll be right back. Okay, next step. We're going to take these. Okay, and we're going to pop them into a solution that is 3/4 mean green cleaning solution, and the remainder is isopropyl alcohol of at least 91%. And as you can see, it's pretty gross looking. And the grosser thing is this white junk down here. That's congealed resin. Because of what I'm using here, the resin doesn't harden. It mainly just kind of coagulates at the bottom. And as you can see, when I start it up, it kind of poofs back into the solution. And that's the mean green doing that. If you just use isopropyl alcohol, the alcohol will just get dirty over time. And if you're not careful, it'll solidify at the bottom if exposed to UV. But as you can see, I've got a window over there. I've got my enclosure. And then I've got my cleaning station here. After this is done, we're going to run it through my, we're going to let it dry completely. And after it dries, we'll cure it using my Elegoo curing station that I have my stickers on. If you want these burning steel designs on Etsy, we have a bunch more now. Yeah, so I'll see you guys when this is done cleaning. Okay, so the 5.5 minutes is up. What we're going to do is we're going to remove these from the unholy fryer basket. We're going to let them drip for a second. The thing that's going to be the worst for you in the entire process is the cleaning solution. Because not only does it have resin in it, but it's also its own caustic agent. So this is the thing you want to be the least exposed to. We're going to... Okay. We will carefully get our things out of here, because any of these small things could easily get caught on the grate. We're just going to set these on our paper towel, and they should dry rather quickly, probably about 20-30 minutes. We'll put these guys back in here, and we'll close this up because the smell is atrocious. The reason why I don't use just alcohol is because it's expensive. Instead, I use the Mean Green alcohol solution. It seems to clean just as well or better, and doesn't smell like it's gonna fucking kill me. And aside from that, it just works. And the fact that it congeals everything down to the bottom is kind of nice, in that it doesn't gum up the motor. This thing's not super strong. It's an Elegoo combo, so it does washer and... Hold on. Apologies. So, yeah. This combination works really well. Please always wear gloves. As you can see, I'm only wearing one right now because I'm using one hand to hold this little tripod thing, but always wear gloves, eye protection, and if you're going to be exposed to this stuff for any length of time at all, or you don't have a well-ventilated area like I do, wear a mask. Thanks, guys. Okay, so what we're doing right now is we're curing this wing. This is the one we processed earlier. As you can see, I have it in a mason jar, which is what I use whenever something won't stand up on its own. I always try to like put two of the wings together and see if I can get them to stand up, but it wasn't worth risking breaking anything to do it. And it does look really cool, I will say. Okay, and then obviously over here, we've got our torso, arms, and tail all done. Everything looks to be good. I'm not going to get them out until I'm ready to process them though. So I'm going to go help put the kids down for bed, and while we wait for these to cure, I'll finish off these pieces and we'll be good to go. Okay, so now we've got these last two pieces going, and we're going to go throw on a fresh pair of gloves, and we can, hold on. The legs didn't want to cooperate. They're being punished. Okay. Let's go and take these off. I'll be right back. Okay, so just like last time, everything seems to have built properly. We're going to start with what we seem to be, or what we think to be the weakest piece. We're just going to kind of pluck off all this stuff. Looks to be maybe some failure in the chainmail there. I'm actually going to use my clippers here because this is very thin. I'm just going to go up the... That's why you need eye protection, by the way. These things can really fly. Okay, that's the closest to the build plate. Okay. So we should be able to go in here, pluck away some stuff, just like last time. Okay. And that's the sword. So we'll just come in here real quick. Be very ginger. That guy's going to be a problem whenever we do the wash and cure. He's very thin. Problem is, a lot of this stuff you don't know until you print it out once. There's not much I can do though. There's the tail. Because if I were to make that thicker, I'd have to go into Blender to do it. Otherwise it's just too... the entire thing would be too thick. Okay, let's try to free up this arm. And I think you can see on the end here on the pommel, all of the supports have kind of merged into one mecha support. So we're going to come in there with clippers and do that one. Kind of just pull them out so we can get a little bit closer in there. A lot of that's my fault. I came in and added a bunch of those extra supports at the end. But I'd rather it have a couple extra sprue marks and work than fail and be pretty. Okay. Gonna wiggle our finger in here. They're his nails. Okay. And that's an arm. Looks good. No failures. Okay. Crap. Okay. Here's our first truly delicate piece. If you look at the top of his head, he has a little star. That's probably going to break off. I'm going to be very ginger with it. Got him. Got him and it didn't break. Okay, we're just kind of pulling him off his face now. There's nothing too terribly delicate about his features. It is Angron, by the way. I mean, it's not like it's Rabute or Fulgrim or something. Okay. A lot of supports on this dude. So after we get this part out, get these guys washed and cured, we will be... Did I pull off a piece? I might have pulled off this little medallion. I can't tell if that's... No, I have it. Never mind. After we get these guys off here, I can get the base started. And that's going to be a big honker. It's going to use a lot of resin. It's going to take a lot of time. And I'll get to show you guys how hollow prints work. They're a pain in the ass. Okay. Doing good. Just kind of getting my fingers in there. I'm not gonna lie, I really hate this stand. I've knocked it over like 3 times already. I've got another one on the way. Hopefully it's better. I'd like to do more long form stuff, it's just gotta find the time. Okay, come on Angron, there you go. And that's our boy's body. Looks pretty good, looks pretty good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna find my scraper, which is somewhere. Well, normally I would find my scraper, but I'm just going to use my nail. One of the nice things about the platforms that Chi2Box uses is that you can get your nail under it Just be careful and don't hurt yourself, because uncured resin can be pretty sharp. See, I can get my nail on there and chip it away. Just had it. I don't know where it went, but I'm getting most of it, so not a big deal. Yeah, the last thing you want is to cut a hole in your glove by doing this. But if you look at it, the platforms that G2 Box makes have a lip, so you can easily get under them, and then you're going to want to scrape your board like that. As you can see, mine's pretty jammed up, and you want that. You don't want it to be polished perfect. I don't use a magnet strip or anything, and I've scrape the hell out of this because it creates contact for when you print stuff. So, okay, I'll see you guys in a minute when we get ready to do some washing. Okay, so I've got the base printing. I've got his legs curing, and I've got his other body parts in this pre-soak. It looks like this is just about time to clean this out. So after I finish the Angron project, I'll go ahead and clean this out, and we'll cure it outside and dispose of it properly. Okay, we'll get these moved on as soon as his legs are done curing. See you guys in a second. Okay, so these are done. We're just letting them drip a little bit, and then we'll pour them out of my Forbidden Fryer basket and into the drying tray. Okay, as you can see, I'm just kind of letting everything okay, I'm going to throw this there. Nothing looks like it's broken. Be careful with this dude, he's got a bad temper. Okay, and then there we go. We'll put him in the back in the forbidden deep frying juice. Close the lid. And we'll be ready for the next step. I'll see you guys in several hours whenever the base is done. It is currently at dose%. Later, guys. So another way you can do this, take your glove, grab a piece, put it on there, and put like several on there. Okay, so I've got them all arranged. I'm going to throw the lid on. We're going to make sure, because if I left this here, it would spin it super fast, so we're going to make sure we turn it to lamp. We're going to do 5 minutes. We'll let it go around, we'll flip everything over, and then we'll do the torso. Hey everyone, so it's been a day. All of these pieces up here are ready to go. They are washed and cured. And then obviously I've got my base in here that we need to pull out. Now because it is hollow, what I've done is I purposefully left it on the print pad or print bed for a full day. Be careful with that. And what we're going to do is pull it off. Gotta be real careful. Hollow prints love to spray stuff everywhere. That is about as perfect as it could have been. As you can see, that bottom is like completely flat. All the details came out. Everything looks beautiful. You can see the small holes on it right there. I'll show you how to post-process that in just a second. Oh. Apologize, I'm still getting used to doing things one-handed. Trying not to make a mess. I do have one more thing I want to print before I put away my all of my stuff. We're gonna go ahead and skip the water bath on these guys. I got myself a new arm, so I'll actually be able to have like nice camera angles and stuff. See you guys in just a second. Okay, hopefully that's a pretty good angle. So get rid of these old gloves. So as you can see, this looks really good, but it's hollow, which means that we got to be really careful with it because it might be brittle. As with our stuff yesterday, we're going to go through it and just kind of get rid of all the loose ones off here. Okay. Going through. Don't want to try to pull it too early. Don't know how structurally sound it is. Ostensibly it's one big piece, but you never know if there could be a structural failure at any point. As of this point, we've got about 90% of the supports out of the way. I'm going to try to come at some of these small ones. I need to get a new pair of clippers, I'll tell you. These ones have seen their fair share of work. Okay. Boom. Got a nice base for our model. I'm going to go in here. Okay, I'm going to go give it a quick water bath. I'll be right back. Okay, so the main thing I just did was rinse off all of the nooks and crannies in some water using, by rinse I mean soak, with a toothbrush to get in the nooks and crannies. Because that's a very craggy rock, and I was kind of worried that if I just do what I normally do with hollow prints, it wouldn't work. Plate is clean and good to go. Just for ease of camera, I'm going to go ahead and take one glove off and do the rest one-handed to make sure that I can get a good angle on what I'm doing, because I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Putting these over here in my little recycling bin. Okay, so gloves coming off. I've got my vat cleaning supplies. And these aren't the most pleasant smelling thing, but I shouldn't need them for too terribly long. Okay. Try to get a good angle. I'm not used to this arm, I just got it today, so. Okay, I think you can see. So what we're going to try to do is find one of the holes. There's one right there. We're going to dip this in, avoiding the gunk at the bottom. And as you, I don't know, I hope you can see the bubbles coming up out of it, because it's filling up with solvent. We're going to let it fill up, and then we're going to let it drain. We're going to do that 2 or 3 times, and it just sank because it's now as heavy as the solvent. So what it's doing is it's leaking, and it's taking all the liquid and uncured resin out of it. We want to do this a couple of times. Okay, so now we've gone through once. We're going to go through again. We're going to let it fill up from a different hole this time to make sure we get all of the stuff we can. See if you can get an angle on that. It's kind of hard to do. It's putting up a lot of bubbles. And the reason why I am doing this by hand right now is to keep the sediment at the bottom of the solvent. So I'm letting it fill up. Okay. It's full. Move it around a little bit more, see if there's any air pockets in there. And honestly, doing hollow prints like the base for my Vulcan is what gave me such large amounts of resin in the bottom of this thing, because they put off a ton. Um, this one was on the print bed for almost a day, and so it wasn't necessarily going to be as bad. But that Vulcan one put out a lot of liquid resin. So this is coming out really clear, and it's not making a cloud in the liquid as it goes. So what I'm gonna do is after this drain, I'm gonna manually fill it up one more time, and then I'm gonna run it for a good 6 minutes, which is a lot longer than I normally run it. Um, but what I want is to have some circulation inside the actual stone. Okay, so we're just filling up again, and then we'll go throw this on the wash and cure. Once this gets dried off, I'm going to leave it on its side for about 3 hours. The outside will be dry in about 35 minutes probably, but I'm going to continuously move this over every couple hours, because if I don't, liquid's just going to keep coming out in different spots, and I'll come back after like a day. And what'll end up happening is my paper towel will be wet, and we'll find a whole new, glob of uncured resin. Give me 1 second. So just like last time, we're going to change it from, this is the ultraviolet, to rinse and cure. We're going to go up to 6 minutes, which is a long time, and we're going to watch it kick up all that resin. The resin really doesn't cause a problem because it doesn't really stick to anything. So we're going to let this go for quite a while, and after I get this thing out, I will put it on the drying pad, and we'll let it dry, and I'll see you guys back when it cures. Later. Okay, everyone. Now that we've got everything cured, I'm going to go ahead and put everything together. Had to do this in post because I had some issues with the audio for this section. At this point, though, everything's been printed, cured, and it's ready to go. We're going to use super glue in all of the joints, and we're going to very carefully put it together. While we do this, I'll put on some relaxing music, and you guys can follow along. Or if you want to, you can skip to the last 30 seconds, and we're going to do a little show off after it's been primed. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you, guys.